Hi guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to do two different kinds of graffiti. So for today, you're going to need your pencil and something to color with. So crayons, markers, colored pencils. I like using markers best for this project. For the other kind of graffiti, which we'll probably do next week, you're going to need crayons, and especially a black crayon. So you notice my black crayon gets a lot of use. It's a little nubby now, but that's okay. It'll still work. So I'm going to put my colors off to the side for now because we're going to start drawing with our pencil. And to start off with, we're going to do our name in graffiti, or our tag. So I'm going to write all the letters of my name, nice and big, capital letters, spacing them out so they have some room around them. Just like that. All right. Now I want to make them into bubble or block letters that I can color inside of the letter, because graffiti letters usually have coloring inside them. So to do that, I need to draw a line or a fence all the way around my letter, like I'm blocking it in so it can't get out. So there's two ways to do that. A bubble letter is when you draw a U shape at the end of every line. Go around your letter, U shape, around your letter, U shape, and go back to where you started. A block letter is where you draw a straight line underneath and you have a straight line around your letter. Now, if you start to run into another letter's bubble, don't go across it, just skip it and keep going. Just like that. Because sometimes graffiti letters run into each other, and that's okay, it's part of the design. If your letter has a closed inside, like a letter R, P, O, or D, you can see my name has a lot of them, you also need to make a little bubble inside that closed section, otherwise it'll look weird when you erase it. Okay? So it's okay if your letters are a little bit wonky, like that. You can add a bit of style to them because this is making art out of your name. So you can see I'm using a mixture of bubble and block letters. You don't have to do only block or bubble letters. You can do both. Oop, I forgot the inside of my letter P. Okay? And that's how you do your name in graffiti letters. Now, tags usually have a little bit extra. So some symbols or some pictures, so you can add whatever you want to your tag. I really like to paint, so I'm going to add a paintbrush to my tag. So I'm going to do like the teardrop shape for the top of the paintbrush, and then a straight line, curved line for that little part of the paintbrush, and maybe some drops of paint. Like that. I also really like foxes, so maybe I'll add some fox ears to my letter T, and some whiskers, something like that. What else could I add? I also like flowers, so maybe I'll do some flowers around the edges. But you guys can add whatever makes you happy, whatever you think would be a good addition to your tag. Okay, I think that's pretty good. So now I'm going to take a black marker or a Sharpie, and I'm going to go over all my pencil lines. Notice that I'm only going around my graffiti lines. I'm not going around the inside skeleton letters because they were only there as a guideline. Only those little bubbles inside. Make sure you go slow and careful, but if you miss your pencil lines, it's not a big deal because you're going to erase them anyway. If your lines are too small to be gone over with a black marker, you could either use a black pen, a black crayon, or a black colored pencil. Up to you. Oh, I almost forgot my brush. Then I'm going to erase all my pencil lines. Careful not to do it too hard or you could rip your paper or mess it up. Again, my pencil lines aren't really erasing super well because I drew it harder so you could see it on camera. Yours should erase better if you drew more lightly. Then if you have time, you can color in your graffiti. Any colors you want. To make a cool design. Make sure that when you color it, you use ping pong coloring, nice and neat, side to side. No spaghetti coloring. Try not to leave any white spots. Okay. Alrighty, when you are all done with that, we're going to try the other kind of graffiti. So if you watch the video, you may remember that the origin of the word graffiti comes from the word to scratch. So now we're going to try some scratch art graffiti. If you have ever done one of those scratch art books where you give that little wooden stick and you can scratch a picture into like some black paper and you can see colored paper or glittery paper underneath, you might have done scratch art before. So in order to do scratch art, you are going to need crayons. Scratch art only works with crayons, so please make sure you have crayons for today. And you're also going to need your pencil. There we go, my tag is done. Alright, so for the scratch art, you're going to need a bunch of different crayon colors and black. We're going to start with the colors. So using any colors you want, you're going to fill a space really nice and dark with that color. You don't want to see any white spaces or your scratch art won't work. So I'm going to color even over spaces that I've colored before to make sure I don't see any white spots. This is also going to create some really nice color blending. I'm going in rainbow order because I like the way that rainbow scratch art looks. You do not have to go in rainbow order if you don't want to. That's fine. I'm going to do a small area first to test it out. I recommend you do too, and then you can fill more of your paper with the scratch art if you have time. But first, again, we're pressing really, really hard. Okay? Then I'm going to take my black and I'm going to press really, really hard to cover over everything I just did. Now, depending on the kind of crayons you have, this might be a little bit harder to cover, and it may not cover completely, but that's okay. If you have oil pastels, this might be a little bit easier for you. Just do the best you can. Try to cover as many of the colorful spots as you can. Okay? Then you can take your pencil and just scratch a design in. And as you can see, you're scratching away the top layer of black to reveal the pretty rainbow layer underneath. Now note that this will not work if you don't cover all your white spots. So notice over here I color kind of lightly. It does not look as dark as over here. I cover it with black and I try to scratch. You can't really see anything. It does not work. So your colors have to be really, really dark with no white spots showing, and press really, really hard with the black crayon on top in order for your design to show up. Okay? I hope you guys enjoy working on both sets of graffiti, and I'll see you next time.